All right, thanks so much for joining us on the bright side once again, friends. I want to continue talking about two hormone substances that you can get OTC, over the counter, in addition to progesterone. We spent a lot of time last week talking about progesterone, and judging from the letters that I've been getting about progesterone, I seem to have piqued your interest in this very interesting substance that you don't hear a lot about. Well, it turns out there's two other hormones that aren't quite perhaps as active as progesterone, but you can still get a lot of benefits from them. One we started talking about a little bit on our last program. It's called DHEA. We'll finish talking about DHEA today. And then the other one we'll talk about tomorrow. Both of these substances, DHEA and the second hormone that we'll tell you about tomorrow, like the aforementioned progesterone, are derived from cholesterol. Cholesterol is a super, mega important substance. This demonization of cholesterol is one of the stupidest things the medical model has presented us with, this idea that you have to lower your cholesterol to prevent heart disease. Let me be clear, and we're going to hit this up real hard in the next, maybe not tomorrow, but later on this week, we're going to hit this up real hard. But let me be very clear right now. You do not need to take a poison drug to lower your cholesterol if you're worried about heart disease. If your doctor tells you so, he knows zippo, nada, nothing about biochemistry, because cholesterol is arguably the single most important compound. It's certainly the most versatile compound in the body. And to poison your cholesterol making machinery is the height of medical and biochemical stupidity. And we will be talking about this at length towards the end of the week, and probably going into next week as well, because there's so much I want to tell you about cholesterol. There's so much stuff about cholesterol that you don't hear about. But suffice it to say, this stuff is very fascinating, very misunderstood, and sadly, unfortunately, demonized and much maligned. And we'll tell you all about that at the end of the week, going into next week. Anyway, one of the most important roles for cholesterol is to serve as a raw material building block, a sort of biochemical clay out of which the body can mold all the other steroid hormones, especially the three most important anti-aging, growth and repair, and youth steroid hormones. All three of these substances are non-toxic. All three of these substances have wonderful anti-anxiety, anti-stress benefits. All three of these substances have wonderful anti-cancer benefits. All three of these substances have wonderful balancing properties against the toxicity associated with estrogen. And that means estrogen in the form of foods, estrogen in the form of foreign estrogens, xenoestrogens, chemicals that are found in plastics and fragrances and skincare products. Sunscreens act like these foreign estrogens. Bisphenol A can act like these foreign estrogens. Some of you may have heard of the problems associated with parabens, which are preservatives in skincare products. Parabens can act like foreign estrogen substances. And if you're simply estrogen dominant, if you're making a lot of estrogen for whatever reason, these three non-toxic, gentle, over-the-counter hormones can be protective against estrogen dominance as well. One of the most impressive benefits of these over-the-counter OTC hormones is their relaxing properties and their stabilizing properties. Disease in many cases is caused by instability, and these over-the-counter hormones that you can buy very readily without a doctor's prescription have wonderful stabilizing properties, and this can help them. This is what gives them their anti-disease benefits. They're also very relaxing. For folks dealing with insomnia or anxiety, progesterone at 50 to 100 milligrams a day can have some amazing, noticeable, dramatic, relaxing benefits. In fact, if there's a side effect or if there's an adverse effect associated with progesterone, which is generally non-toxic, if you want to come up with a side effect, it's the fact that it may cause you a little bit of drowsiness. Of course, that's going to be a good thing if you have anxiety problems or if you have insomnia problems. If you take some progesterone at bedtime, it can help you fall asleep. It can help relax you, and it can help you fall asleep as well. It can potentiate the effects of other relaxing supplements. If you're taking GABA, or you're taking theanine, or glycine, or 5-HTP, or tryptophan, all of which have wonderful relaxing benefits. If you're taking magnesium, try taking a little bit of progesterone with your magnesium or 5-HTP or GABA. Try taking about 50 milligrams of progesterone with 100 milligrams of GABA and maybe 100 milligrams of 5-HTP. See what happens. If you're like most folks, you're going to find that you're feeling very, very relaxed. You can throw in another 1,000 milligrams of magnesium to boost the relaxing effect. This kind of protocol, this kind of relaxing anti-anxiety protocol, can also be helpful for folks who are dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And this GABA, magnesium, 5-HTP, progesterone combination protocol can also give you some benefits if you're trying to wean yourself off of benzodiazepines, Valium or Xanax, or even if you're trying to wean yourself off of painkillers. Keep in mind that these kind of protocols that involve hormones and GABA and 5-HTP are not nutritional protocols. These don't involve nutrients. GABA and progesterone and 5-HTP are not technically essential nutrients. So you still need to make sure that you're getting your nutrition basics. If you have insomnia or you have anxiety or you have jitteriness or you have some kind of health issue and you're thinking of using progesterone or GABA or 5-HTP, you still need to make sure you're getting the mighty 90. You still need to make sure that you're getting your nutrition basics, the B vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, protein, vitamin C. These are all the substances that Dr. Wallach calls the mighty 90. These are essential nutrients. There's no getting around the fact that you need them. Even if you're thinking of using progesterone and GABA, you still need the mighty 90. But if you need a little bit more relaxation, progesterone, GABA, and 5-HTP, tryptophan, these may be just what you need. All right, when we come back from our break, I'll tell you about the second over-the-counter hormone that's easily available in health food stores. Our number today is 866-582-9933. We're coming back at you right after this. Don't go away. We're talking about over-the-counter hormones. You probably haven't heard too much about these over-the-counter hormones. The FDA is not crazy about them. Your doctor's not crazy about them. And indeed, these don't have the same benign, non-toxic, gentle nature, the same essential nature that nutritional supplements do, but they can still be very, very important when it comes to taking care of some basic health needs. Progesterone's got some relaxing effects. Progesterone can be helpful for anxiety issues. Progesterone is anti-cancer. Progesterone is stabilizing. Progesterone can be very helpful for autoimmune diseases, especially autoimmune diseases of the nerves. And then we come to our second over-the-counter hormone that we touched on a little bit last week. This is an over-the-counter hormone that you could buy at the health food store. You could buy it at the internet, on the internet. It's DHEA. Dehydroepiandrosterone. You just call it DHEA. This stuff is like progesterone, has some amazing benefits. If there ever was a hormone of youth, if there ever was a fountain of youth hormone, this is the stuff, DHEA. And this youth-providing benefit, this healing benefit, this growth and repair benefit that DHEA can give you, probably has something to do with why it has been at the center of an FDA regulatory storm for nearly 20 years. Back in the 1980s, the FDA actually banned the stuff. And you needed a prescription. When I graduated pharmacy school in 1986, you needed a prescription for DHEA. According to the FDA, the stuff was so good that people might abuse it. So the FDA, being our friends, our federal friends in Washington, thought that they need to ban FDA. Only a doctor was supposed to be able to tell you about FDA or be able to dispense FDA. This, of course, is absolute nonsense. DHEA has zero abuse potential. Some of you may remember back in the 1990s when the FDA was attempting to extend their fascist control over nutritional supplements. They still haven't given up the battle, by the way. 1993, 1994, the FDA was trying to ban all nutritional supplements, but the outcry from the public was so loud that the fascist drug administration folks were forced to retreat back into their hole as Congress came up with a piece of compromise legislation that's called DHEA, the Dietary Supplement Health Education Act, DSHEA, not to be confused with DHEA. DHEA was basically a piece of legislature that said that supplements were food, and supplements only needed to follow the same labeling guidelines that food did, and this basically allowed DHEA to be sold over the counter as a nutritional supplement. So beginning about 1994, 1995, continuing to today, for now anyway, only God knows how long it'll be, but for now anyway, you can go get DHEA at the health food store. Recently, There has been a move to try to return DHEA and other pro-hormones or pre-hormones to prescription status, but for now, you can get your DHEA at the health food store or on the internet. In any case, DHEA provides a whole host, a laundry list of health benefits. DHEA, like progesterone, is non-toxic, it's safe, it's gentle, and it's very, very, very inexpensive. You can get a 3-month supply of DHEA for less than $20. DHEA levels are inversely proportional to cortisol levels, which basically means that the more stress hormone you're making, the less DHEA you're going to have available. The more cortisol you're making, which is stress hormone, the less DHEA you're going to have available to do other things. And because for most of us, as we get older, our cortisol levels just naturally go up. For most of us, as we get older, this critically important pre-hormone, this amazingly helpful fountain of youth hormone, DHEA, its levels tend to drop with age. And because of this drop in DHEA, which is possibly exacerbated by the increase in stress hormone, as we get older, we become more susceptible to infections and immune system problems, and that includes autoimmune diseases. And this is why older folks are specifically targeted by predator drug companies and predator medical professionals and pharmacies like Walgreens and Rite Aid that prey on elderly folks using fear tactics about flu vaccines and the need to be vaccinated with the flu vaccine. Even the government is involved in the scam of ramming the flu vaccine down our metaphorical throats. For those of you who didn't know it, last week was officially the National Influenza Vaccination Week, as declared by our guardian angels in Washington at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They love us so much. They want to take care of us so much. They're practically insisting that everybody gets a flu vaccine. Now, if you want to go ahead and buy into the party line and the propaganda and the BS and the government crapola about flu vaccination, go right ahead. But in my opinion, you would be much better off focusing on strengthening your adrenal glands, lowering cortisol, stress hormone, and using immune-building supplements, non-nutritional immune-building supplements like DHEA. Of course, getting yourself on the Mighty 90 is also a very important strategy for preventing your interaction with the flu, and also reducing your intake of insulin-spiking foods. If you had to pick one strategy to destroy your immune system, it would be the excess ingestion of insulin-spiking foods and foods that mess up your blood sugar. And by the way, other immune diseases, or immune health challenges, I should say, asthma, multiple sclerosis, lupus, all of these will benefit. You can get incredible benefits from DHEA, from progesterone, as well as from all of your immune-boosting strategies, and laying off the processed food. There's a couple of forms of DHEA that you can get over the counter. There's the standard basic DHEA, which is going to be the kind that most people will use. And then there's something called 7-keto DHEA. It's a little bit more expensive. One of the knocks on DHEA is pretty much non-toxic, but one of the knocks on DHEA is that the body can convert it into testosterone, into male hormone, which I think is kind of a good thing, especially nowadays we hear all these commercials for low T, and there's drugs that can help restore your testosterone levels. Well, it turns out the DHEA can actually get converted into testosterone. And while this can actually be a benefit, and it might not be a problem for most folks, for some folks, you may not want to have a lot of testosterone. DHEA, because of this testosterone boosting effect, may cause some hormonal side effects, things like hair loss or acne. 7-keto DHEA, unlike regular DHEA, is not directly converted into testosterone. So if you're a high testosterone producer, or you're breaking out, or you have oily skin or hair loss, or you have a tendency that way, you may want to use 7-keto DHEA rather than the regular DHEA, even though it's a little more expensive. One of the most well-known benefits of 7-keto DHEA is something called thermogenesis, which actually means increasing your metabolism, which basically means, in essence, more fat burning. 7-keto DHEA and regular DHEA can also be helpful for fat burning if you're trying to lose weight, and both 7-keto DHEA and DHEA can be helpful for the brain, for the nervous system, and for the memory. There's so many other things I want to tell you about this stuff. We'll finish up when we come back from our break and take your phone calls as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to The Bright Side. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben. We're talking about over-the-counter hormones, progesterone and DHEA. Tomorrow I'll tell you about a third hormone that you can use. It's got some relaxing benefits. It's available over the counter. Most folks haven't heard of this third one. We'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Let me just finish up a little bit more about DHEA, some of the benefits associated with this truly important fountain of youth hormone, DHEA, and then we'll get to your phone calls here in a minute. So two forms of DHEA. You got regular DHEA, then you got the 7-keto form, 7-keto DHEA. If you're a high testosterone producer, if you're breaking out or you got high hairline, and you don't want to mess around with DHEA, which can be converted into testosterone, or if you're taking DHEA and you find that you're breaking out, or you're maybe losing hair, or your skin is a little bit more oily, all of these are some of the side effects that are associated with DHEA. Remember, this is not a nutritional substance, so you may have a little bit of side effects. If you're running into these kinds of problems, you want to know about, or you want to start using 7-keto DHEA rather than DHEA. DHEA is a lot cheaper, and so if you can get away with DHEA, that's the stuff to go with, but if you can't, you want to use 7-keto DHEA. DHEA is amazingly helpful for weight loss. It's important for the immune system. If you have movement disorders, palsies or tremors or Parkinson's disease, a little DHEA supplementation can help you there too. Both 7-keto DHEA and DHEA can be very effective for preventing age spots and for keeping your skin from being dry. You can add a little bit of DHEA or 7-keto DHEA to your favorite moisturizing cream, and you can make yourself a really nice anti-aging and moisturizing skincare product. And because DHEA is absorbed pretty nicely through the skin right into your blood, you can actually up your own DHEA levels by using a DHEA cream. Using steroid hormones like DHEA and progesterone can also be helpful, as I said earlier, for post-traumatic stress syndrome and for anxiety issues. And all of these steroid hormones are effective in a cream format as well as in capsules and pills. So you can apply them in creams. You don't necessarily have to have a pharmacist make a capsule for you. You can put them on as a cream, but please, 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 please be aware that DHEA and progesterone are hormone substances, technically pre-hormone substances, because they get converted, but they're not nutrients. That means you may run into some issue with side effects that you don't run into with straight Mighty 90 type nutrition. Both DHEA and progesterone are pretty gentle, but they don't have the same kind of non-toxic, benign nature that nutrients have, even though for the most part there's no toxicity. They're hormones, they're not nutrients. It's probably best to stick to as low a dose as you need with progesterone. 50 milligrams a day to 100 milligrams a day for 4 to 6 days a week is probably a good starting point. With DHEA, maybe 10 to 25 milligrams a day for 4 to 6 days a week. You always want to take days off with DHEA and progesterone. And it's also probably a good idea to have your blood levels checked periodically to make sure that you're not getting too much DHEA or progesterone. Increases in hair on the body or hair loss on the head, changes in muscularity, deepening of your voice, skin oiliness, breakouts. These are all signs that you may be getting too much DHEA and progesterone or progesterone. Okay, so there's a third hormone that's available OTC over the counter that you can get that'll give you some nice health benefits, especially adrenal health benefits. This is a hormone that, like DHEA and progesterone, is made from cholesterol, and like DHEA and progesterone, this hormone, the levels of this hormone drop pretty significantly as we get older. And like DHEA and progesterone, this is a hormone that you may want to at least think about supplementing with, although I got to tell you, most folks have never heard of this stuff. Most doctors have never heard of this stuff, even though it's got some really interesting properties which you've known about for 60 or 70 years, especially when it comes to calming and relaxing and anti-anxiety. In addition to being an extremely important raw material for other steroid hormones, including progesterone, we'll tell you about this third over-the-counter hormone that you can get tomorrow on our next Bright Side episode, so you're going to want to tune in for that. All right. 866-582-9933 is our number. Let's take our first phone call of the day. What is going on, Mike in California? Welcome to the Bright Side. Mike? Do we have Mike? Did we lose Mike? Mikey? What's up, Mike? I hear you rustling about there. Let's move on. Let's take Mike in Arizona. What's going on, Mike in Arizona? Mike in California, hang tight. We'll get to you next. What's up, Mike in Arizona?
Oh, yeah, just wondering. I have a couple pimples on my face. I don't know if they're pimples, but they kind of don't go away. And I have a couple of skin tags.
Okay.
And I have some red blotchiness on my lower legs I've had for a while, but I'm about 100 pounds overweight. I think that has to do with it, but I don't know what it is.
Yes, it does. It's not so much that it has to do with it in a causal fashion. It's not like your weight issues are causing your skin problems. It's more like they're both caused by the same issue, and that's blood sugar problems. Anytime your weight is fluctuating that much or is elevated that much, you want to think about blood sugar. If you have problems with skin tags, that is a classic red flag for prediabetes or diabetes. I get a lot of folks who want to know how to get rid of skin tags, and I actually do make a product that we sell by prescription or to estheticians that you can dab on skin tags to kind of burn them off a little bit. But if you have skin tags, and I've said this so many times, if you have any kind of rapid growing cells growing like they shouldn't, dividing too rapidly, cysts or fibroids or skin tags, you more than likely are dealing with prediabetes or diabetes. You're dealing with a blood sugar problem. Mike, with the weight and the zits and the skin tags, it sounds like you are a classic case. You have a classic case of blood sugar problems. So first things first, deal with your blood sugar. How do you deal with your blood sugar? Well, two different ways. Number one, you reduce your intake of foods that spike blood sugar, and those are the usual suspects: bread, pasta, corn, potatoes, processed foods of all kinds, sugar, fruit juice, you know the stuff that messes up blood sugar. And there's you want to avoid those, but you don't want to use willpower, especially now coming into the holiday season when we're all being bombarded with sweets and snacks and all these kinds of foods that they put at the holiday parties and holiday buffets. Get yourself on protein and essential fatty acids. In fact, if you have any indication that you're going to be tempted by these kinds of foods, before you go to the party, get yourself some protein. Whey protein is the best, but whatever kind of protein you use, make yourself a smoothie with essential fatty acids. Blend the two together, drink it down. And for you, Mike, you want to do this as often as possible, especially if you've got 100 pounds that you're going to need to lose. So it's not so much that the weight is causing the problems with your skin. It's more like both the weight and the skin, your skin health issues are coming from the same problem, and that is blood sugar issues. There's also wonderful nutrients that you can take to help stabilize blood sugar. So keeping your blood sugar under control, keeping your insulin under control is a two-pronged process. On the one hand, you want to reduce your intake of these kinds of foods that mess up your blood sugar, and the best way to reduce your intake is not to use willpower, but to go into more protein and more essential fatty acids. And then the second prong is to take nutrients, especially in supplemental fashion, that help stabilize blood sugar. The Sweeties from Longevity, which is chromium and vanadium, is a true superstar nutritional supplement for helping stabilize blood sugar. It'll help you lose weight. It'll help with your blood pressure. Any of the health conditions that are associated with excesses or instability in the blood sugar system will benefit, will improve by using the Sweeties, and that definitely includes blood pressure and circulatory problems in addition to weight. So I'd be using the Sweeties if I were you. Magnesium, the OsteoFX, also very important for blood sugar issues. Niacin, vitamin B3 is also very important for blood sugar issues. I'm going to tell you that a mineral when we come back, Mike, that's also important. That's important for blood sugar, but it's also very important for your skin. So hang tight, Mike, and all you other guys on hold, we'll try to get to as many calls as we can. 866-582-9933 is your number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thank you, friends, for being here. 866-582-9933 is our number. We're talking to Mike in Arizona. You there, buddy?
Yep.
All right, so you want to treat your skin tags and the pimples and the weight and all your health issues as pre-diabetic issues. A couple things that I didn't say before I want to tell you. First of all, just to reinforce what we just said, avoiding all the insulin-spiking foods, and instead of using willpower, go to more protein and go to more essential fatty acids. Get yourself on the ultimate EFAs. Get yourself on a good source of whey protein, which is the best as long as you don't have any digestive issues. And then, of course, all your insulin-controlling and blood sugar-controlling nutrients like the Sweeties from Longevity, the OsteoFX, the amino acid taurine and arginine can be very helpful. B vitamins are stupendously important for blood sugar control, especially vitamins B1 and B3. And then there's a really important mineral that's got multiple benefits, including blood sugar and including skin health benefits. I've talked about it before. It's a must-have nutritional supplement. This is one that everybody needs. I can't say this more forcefully enough, especially if you're dealing with blood sugar issues and skin issues, and that's zinc. Look for zinc picolinate 50 milligrams a day. Zinc picolinate 50 milligrams a day. It's cheap, and it's unbelievably important for the skin and also for the blood sugar systems. Tons of other stuff you could do, but that's a great place for you to start, Mike. I hope we helped you out. Any other questions? Is that pretty clear?
Yeah, just one quick thing. I have a son that's 6 months old,
yeah,
and he's got, not really a rash, but he's got some dry skin patches here and there.
Okay.
And we're feeding him some food now. I'm blending up, cooking it, vegetables and some little fruits.
Okay.
So, my wife take more fats? Or
well, hang on. Does your wife have any conditions like that? Any eczema or food allergies or anything?
No, nothing.
Okay. So here's what you need to do, all right? You want to treat it as a fat. He's not breastfeeding any longer, correct?
No, he's still breastfeeding.
Okay, have mom start taking, if she's not already, have her start using the Ultimate EFAs. Make sure she's getting enough essential fatty acids, including fish oil. Have mom getting on 20,000 international units a day of vitamin A a day, and 400 international units of vitamin E a day, and see if you could link up link up bowel movement issues or cramping or any kind of digestive issues. If you can notice any colicky issues with the baby and specific foods. You may be dealing with eczema. Usually kids, when they're 6 months old, their skin should be perfect. If a 6-month-old baby is having some skin problems, that could be a red flag for either eczema, which is related to food allergies or food intolerances, or perhaps nutritional deficiencies, or both. And so you want to connect up digestive issues, see if you notice loose stools or anything like that, any digestive complaints, any kind of, not complaints, but the kid acting a little bit funny or colicky after he's eating, and see if you can associate the problems with the skin with problems with the food or digestive issues with food issues. You want to use his skin problems as a barometer to how well you're doing. In other words, his skin problems should disappear as you go on the right track. His skin problems will get worse if you go off track. Does that make sense, Mike?
Do you think coconut water, giving that to him, is bad?
Not necessarily, but you're going to have to see how he does. You said water or oil?
Coconut water.
Shouldn't be bad, but there is some sugar in there. You just have to see how he does. It shouldn't be bad, though. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
but you're going to have to see how he does. Okay, think fats, think fatty vitamins for the mom, and then that'll come through the breast milk. Think problems with the foods that you're feeding him, or problems with the mom eating certain foods that are coming out in the breast milk, components of those foods coming out in the breast milk causing a problem. Link it up to foods. You always got to link these things up to foods, especially if you got a baby who's experiencing some skin issues, because baby skin should not have, that should be perfect. A 6-month-old baby should be a perfect picture of health, because that's a fresh human being right out of the mint, so to speak, and there shouldn't be any kind of health condition, especially skin problems. Okay, Mike? Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Did we get Mike in California back? John, did we get Mike in California?
Hello?
Hey, Mike. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I had a question for you. I'm trying to lose some weight.
Okay.
I'm 6'4", and I'm just under 360 pounds.
Okay.
I do lift weights, so I have a little bit more lean mass than most people, I think. But I'm just looking to see what I can get.
You want to drop some poundage? How old are you?
Yeah, I just want to. I'm 23.
Okay. And let's see what else. You're not on any medicine or anything like that, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. You probably got some blood sugar problems, and this is not just true for Mike in California. This is true for anybody who wants to lose weight, who's noticing that they're bigger than they used to be or bigger than they should be. You've got to focus on blood sugar issues. That means everything we just talked about with Mike in Arizona. That means staying off of foods that throw off your blood sugar, the fruits and the fruit juices and the pasta and the corn and the potatoes and the processed foods and the flour and the bread and the cereal and the cakes and the candies and all that kind of stuff. You got to stay away from that, and don't try to use willpower, but instead steer yourself into protein and essential fatty acids. And Mike, if you're lifting weights and you're weighing 360 pounds, you need a lot of protein. And unless you know what you're doing, chances are you're not getting anywhere near the protein that you need, and that is going to throw off your blood sugar system and it's going to cause you to crave those kinds of foods that are going to make you put on weight. So steer yourself away from those foods and towards more protein and more essential fatty acids, and then you want to start using nutrients that support blood sugar. Get yourself on the Mighty 90. Now, we don't talk about weight loss as being a benefit of the Mighty 90 or a benefit of good nutrition, but it is. Because when your body doesn't have the nutrients that it needs, when it doesn't have the raw materials, it's going to send you out on a one-pointed focus hunt for more food. Because to the body, food and calories and nutrition go together. So when the body sees there's a lack of nutrients, and the brain is always scanning the blood to make sure there's enough nutrients floating around. But when there's not enough of these Mighty 90 nutrients, it's going to send you out looking for food because it thinks that when it gets food, it gets nutrients. Of course, today, we've got all kinds of calories and foods that don't have nutrients in there. So you're going to go out and hunt for food, and you're going to end up eating more food, and you're not going to get the nutrients. Your brain's going to send you out for more food, and you end up on this cycle of food and eating and lack of nutrition and more food and more eating and more lack of nutrition. Not only that, but the foods we eat cost us nutrients. Not only don't they give us nutrients, they cost us nutrients. So getting on a basic nutritional supplement program like the Mighty 90 is a great way to lose weight, and this is why people are losing upwards of 100 pounds plus without even trying. Just by getting on a nutritional supplement program. So, Mike, in addition to all the things that you need to do to stabilize your blood sugar, and by the way, being a diabetic or pre-diabetic is a death sentence. It will shorten your lifespan and increase your risk of all kinds of horrible diseases. So it's not just about weight loss, it's about quality of life that you want to focus on as well, and that's one of the main reason really why you want to stabilize blood sugar. And then get yourself on the Mighty 90. There's a product that Longevity has called ASAP, ASAP, which is a blend of nutrients that also has some interesting properties for folks losing weight, and a lot of folks are wanting to lose weight, and a lot of folks have lost a lot of weight, 10, 15, 20, 60 pounds, 100 pounds. I've seen with my own eyes what this ASAP has done, and that might be something that you want to think about too. I hope we helped you out there, Mike. Stabilize your blood sugar, get on the Mighty 90, and then you may want to try the ASAP product as well. All right, we got about a minute to go. Diane, I know you've been holding for a while. What's going on, girl? Diane in Nebraska.
Ben, you touched on this a little bit, but progesterone cream has directions on it, depending on if you're perimenopausal or menopausal, that you take it for a certain amount of days and then off days. Is this the way to do it or the way you
Absolutely. You always want it with your steroid hormones, your progesterone and DHEA, and the one we'll tell you about tomorrow, you always want to take days off. Now, with progesterone, sometimes doctors will say use it for 3 weeks and then the last week of your cycle, your menstrual cycle, to lay off of it. But in any way you look at it, you always want to take time off from these steroid hormones because you don't want your body to get too used to the outside exogenous administration of these hormones from the outside of your body. If your body gets used to the fact that hormones are coming in from the outside, it may further suppress your own progesterone manufacturing, your own DHEA manufacturing. So yes, indeed, that's a very good point, Diane. You always want to take some time off. Are you using the progesterone cream now?
Yes, I started on it, and for me it says 21 days and then 7 days off.
Yeah, that's that 3 week on, 1 week off cycle. Yeah, that's a good strategy. I would do that if I were you, Diane. Have you noticed anything yet?
No, I haven't.
When did you start?
I think it's probably been 2 weeks now.
And how much have you used?
About a quarter teaspoon is what it recommends, quarter to a half a teaspoon of the cream.
Do you know how much progesterone that is? Does it say?
It says it's 22 milligrams per quarter teaspoon. Is that
okay? That's a pretty small dose. And you're using 22 milligrams a day?
Well, that's what I know, twice a day, morning and night.
Try adding a little more. See what happens. Okay. Go to the point where you notice that you're starting to get a little bit drowsy or relaxing, and see how much it takes. That's what I would do if I were you.
Okay.
All right, we got to move on, Diane. Thanks so much. That's all the time we have for today. On the bright side, appreciate all your calls and all your letters. Tomorrow we'll tell you about a third hormone that you can get over the counter that's got some tremendous relaxing benefits. You buy it at the health food store, and it's amazing stuff. Very few people talk about it, but we'll tell you all about it tomorrow on the bright side. Stay tuned for Alex Jones next on most of these stations. I am Pharmacist Ben. We will talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.